by our wonderful speak by our wonderful speaker, Mr. Rajiv Jain. Rajiv Jain, a published author, master of agility with the certifications of SPC 6, ICP, and a decades of experience to prove it. He's a transformation veteran, having spent over decades of learning global giants like Berkeley's, UBC, UBS, and Credit on their agile nirvana journeys. If you have a systematic problem, he is the person who can quantify the solution. He is known for his courageous and sometimes brutally honest statements, which is why the leaders trust him. When he says you are doing it wrong, he is absolutely not a yes man, and he has 80 plus LinkedIn recommendations to back up his powerful presence. When he is not untangling the portfolio dependencies, you can find Rajiv volunteering as a career counselor, having visited over 200 plus institutions globally to share his wisdom. If you see him after his talk, how, ask him how to save 300 interview hours a month, and yes, he promises to bring a touch of humor to even your darkest release nights. Over to you, Rajiv.
Uh, Thanks, man. Am I audible? First thing first,
Yeah,
and you need
yeah,
to give
loud and
the
clear.
sharing rights.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it is enabled. Let me know, guys, once you're able to see my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, Rajiv.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. And I request you to keep an eye on the chat window because when you're in the sharing mode, this one, you don't have option to see the chats. So I request you to keep an eye on that. And thank you guys for having me and providing me this platform. Uh, I've been doing it's kind of a passion more than anything
Hello,
else, right?
I'm sharing my screen.
Uh, Somebody
Hello.
saying something? Hello.
No, I think
No,
someone
Okay.
accidentally spoke. Please go
Okay.
ahead, Rajiv.
So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
basically,
Great.
which
Uh,
screen
uh,
చూస్తున్నారు?
Rajiv, can you please
okay.
unmute yourself
Yes,
and yeah,
I'm done.
yeah, thank you.
Hope I'm audible now.
Yes.
Okay. So this is kind of a passion, and Venkat reached me again. Right. We have worked together in UBS, and so I thought of sharing my experience with the PMI guys also. So here I am, and thank you once again for providing me the opportunity. Let's go ahead on very basic thing, right? Maybe some of you might not be clear, some of you might be clear, some of you might be having your interpretation or assumption of doing agile to being agile. Let's get inside into this part and see what it has to offer in today's session. Okay, so I'm skipping my intro part. So these are some of the organizations I've worked with, from RBS, UBS, many financial giants, apart from WHO, Sutherland, and also the engineering technologies. So these are some of these guys. So can we have the poll question to start with? Okay, so guys, I'm looking forward to reply on this part. Don't ask me what I mean by this. If this is the question, what will be your reply? Yes, no, not fully. You're 80%, 70%, 60%, or 90%, or maybe something else. What will be your reply when somebody asks you this question? Are you agile at work? Only this part, not are you doing agile or being agile? Are you agile at work? So, not talking about the real life. Are you agile at work? That's what we are asking for. So, looking forward to some replies. Are
Uh,
you yes, no,
they
fully
are,
agile, not fully?
yeah, Rajiv, they are answering via poll. So we got
Okay.
27 answers and we have
Hmm.
62% of the people answered. We are waiting for few more. So we can end the poll
Okay.
and share the screen. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, and what is the final reply? Let me know once you have this.
Yeah, I'm stopping in 5 seconds. Five for
Mm.
everyone. Please answer the poll. Okay, I'm ending the poll now. Yeah, I'm sharing the results. Yeah, everyone will be able to see the poll.
Okay, 39% yes, not fully. So majority are in yes category. For me, 39+52 is in yes, 10% no. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's move on. Okay, so before I discuss this again, let me go back. So when I ask this question, is it something like this you must be going through, right? Using Jira, Kanban, some metrics, Confluence, Scrum, Save, Spotify, velocity, lead time, cycle time, burn down. Right? These are the things you might be thinking on, right? When it's about agile, and maybe some role that comes to your mind, right? Agile coach, enterprise agile coach, team, agile team facilitator. These are the normal things that come to your mind, correct? Whenever we talk about agile. So, and we start thinking, guys, all these things are in place. Are we on the nirvana journey almost, right? Maybe few months down the line, we might be nearing Buddha or Mahavira, right? Attain nirvana, right? Moksha and all, everything is there now. No more scope of improvement left. Is that what you start thinking on? I have met many teams, right, who make a statements, right? Rajiv, we have been doing agile from last 7, 8 years, right? What value add will you do when you come as a coach? I'm sure some of you must have faced these kind of scenarios previously. So now coming back to the question, what data pointers you had in mind while replying yes or maybe or no? Yes or maybe, especially for those. Were you thinking on these lines only, right? Because you have most of these things, some of these things, many of these things, and you have these roles, or is there anything else that you had in mind when you were replying to this particular question? And if you want to unmute and share, maybe one or two people, if we can take not one, right? What is it that you had in mind while you were replying to this question? Maybe you can chat also. You can share. Okay, you're practicing Jira. Uh, that's what. Okay, speed of response, value delivery. Okay, great. Anybody else? Anybody want to unmute and share his or her perspective?
Uh,
What
flex
you had in mind?
Flexibility to adapt to the environment challenges. That's what
Okay,
I feel is being an agile.
okay. No, so it's not what being agile is. It's about what you had in mind while replying to the question. That's more important. Did you had the flexibility in mind?
Yep.
If yes, makes sense.
Yep.
When you reply to the question, what you had in mind, my focus is that particular point.
Yes,
So we
sir.
had 20 plus participants, guys. I'm sure we can have more replies on this part. What is it that you had in mind?
Hi Rajiv, Saujanya here.
Yes,
Good
Ajanya.
morning. Good morning. So the pointers which I had in my mind was right from demand intake till the value of delivery. If you are completely having the mindset of agile, like flexible
Mm-hmm.
enough and also generating value from it. So in
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
my in my case, I have responded three, not fully agile, because
Okay.
I am coming from software operations team, wherein
Mm-hmm.
there is no product owner, and the demand intake is also not right. It comes in come left, right, and center. It's not organized, and we just use Microsoft Azure DevOps boards,
Mm-hmm.
just for the sake of using it. That's it. So that's why I've
Perfect.
responded three.
Perfect. Perfect. So we are. I like the word that we are using Azure for the sake of using it. So more the tools part than anything else. So you mentioned about mindset, and Srini was also called out mindset part. So sometime I see mindset again. That's my own perception is. Sometimes we use mindset as a excuse, or which is the reality part, right? We'll dig deeper into the mindset part after some time. Okay. So what I could hear from you, Sajanya, is more of the tools part that you're talking about, and some of the events that you're having, right? Not
Yeah,
having
yeah.
the right cross-functional place in place. That's another debate which I'm having with some of the leaders is, do you always need a PO? Do you always need a PO? Think over it. Maybe not, depending on case to case. So yes, so some of you raise good points: collaboration, frequent changes, communication, right? Customer value, adaptation. right? Inspect, mindset. So there was a
Uh,
small thing. Yeah.
Raju, sorry to interrupt. I want to share one more
But
perspective.
mm-hmm,
I'm coming from a food and beverages product company
mm-hmm,
wherein hiring a scrum master is treated as waste of money. I also
mm-hmm.
would like to ponder on this thought process.
See, every single thing, wherever you have to spend money is the people start thinking it's a waste, especially when it's about change. As simple as that, right? The thing that when our work is getting done, why we need this particular role? Because they are not, because they may not have the right coach to guide them, to suggest them the value add that a person brings on the table. Those discussions don't happen, right? So
Yeah,
many
correct.
times I overhear the statements also, right? Rajiv, I've hired you to make my team agile. Keep me away from the system. Guys, actually don't work that way, right? So there are many other things that you have to look into our part, right? But yes, you may get few pointers, not everything from the Scrum Master perspective. Maybe we can discuss offline separately after the call. Okay. So
Okay.
within this, there was a small thing which I added. I don't know when any of you noticed this or not. The left side, right? Mindset, values, principle, practices, the Agile Onion. I'm sure most of you must have seen this Agile Onion somewhere. So we'll come to this part in detail to discuss: are you doing Agile or being Agile? Right? What is the difference? Okay. Let's start with the very powerful thing of India, right? Uh, any of you visiting your place of worship? Any of you visiting your place of worship? Just say yes, no. Nothing more than this. Yes, no. Only yes, no. Do you visit your place of worship? Okay, perfect. So we have Surya, at least one no, majority yes. Okay. And for those who are visiting, why do you visit the place of worship? Those who are visiting Gurudwara, they might be having their own reasons, especially when you are not in India, right? And you search for Gurudwara. I myself have done this part. In 7 countries, I used to search for Gurudwara because that is the only place where you get good, authentic vegetarian food. That's the only reason I used to search for Gurudwara. There are the biggest marriage bureaus in India. Some of you, obligation, spiritual solace, mental peace. Any other? Hmm. Habit, culture, peace of mind. Great, great. So everybody is having their own reasons to visit their place of worship. I like the surrender part. Okay, so you have your own reasons. Does your visit to your place of worship also confirms that you are a can directly say those who are visiting their place of worship, they are spiritual and religious too? Can one-to-one mapping? Can we say this part? You are spiritual and religious too? Okay, not necessary. Depends. No. Okay, we can have more replies. I'm assuming some of you are paying attention. Not necessary. Not necessary. Right? So may or may not be. Depends. Right? There is no direct yes. Right? For sure, we cannot say yes. If you are visiting your place of worship, you are religious and spiritual person too. Now, can we relate this conversation to the doing agile to being agile? Just because you are following your agile events, just because you have rolled into the place, just you have tools, does it mean you have adopted agile mindset too? You are following agile values, agile principles. Just because you are doing those activities or events or following certain framework, right? Not necessary. Thanks, Venkat. At least one reply is good enough to boost me. Looking forward to more replies on this part. Okay. Now let's have a discussion on what is doing agile and what is being agile for you. Some of us may be having our own interpretation. What's doing agile for you? After this discussion, what can you think of? How will you define the doing agile? Anyone? How will you define the doing agile? Yeah, Gajendra.
It's like just following as per the framework, just following just for the sake of following it, but not actually, understanding the real value of each event and absorbing that into our day, our work. There is a purpose for every event which is there, and if we
Great.
do not see that purpose and just follow for the sake of following it and closing it off.
Good part, Gajendra. And many of you are calling for similar things, right? Practicing the framework, right? We are just following blindly, doing agile, follow the defined process, right? Aditya calling out doing agile equal to mindset shift, right? Incorporating, setting all this, right? Doing agile, it's about having tools, processes, events in place. Done. That's what doing agile means. And this is where people get confused, right? When we are already following this part, what value add will you bring if you come and start coaching my team? Right? When you say mindset, is it not a very subjective word? Mindset? Mindset of Aditya, mindset of Venkat, mindset of Srinivas, mindset of Gajendra, mindset of Joginder. Will they be same? Will they be same?
Ideally speaking, it should be, but may not be as well.
Very good point. Ideally speaking, it should be, but may not be. And this is where the word alignments come into the picture. Everybody has their own values. Everybody has their own morals. Everybody has their own principles of real life. But can you continue working with your values, principles at work also? You need to adjust as per the company's values, principles, mission, vision part. Has any of you invested time to align with the values, mission, principles of the organization, of your team? If not, this is where the mindset things come to the picture. We do talk a lot, but in reality, what I have seen, majority of the places, people even don't know about the values of the organization itself. You have to spend time to come to the value part. And when you come to the interpretation, these are very subjective words, not easy to align. As an example, a very common value, right? Working software over comprehensive documentation. What's comprehensive? Is it a binary number? Is it a quantifiable number? Comprehensive for 20 people in the call we may get 21 definitions. If forget about 20, we may get 21 definitions of the word comprehensive. So when you are working with a team or an agile release chain or maybe a pod or whatever the term you're using, right? Are they aligned for that part? If not, then what? Is the doing agile proper? Is the doing agile proper? Maybe not. When the doing agile itself is not proper, right? How will you go to the next part? So in the agile onion part, right? Most of you must have seen that all of you must be agreeing that tools, processes, practices, they can be changed anytime, anywhere, right? They are more visible, they are less powerful. Principle, values, mindset, extremely less visible and extremely powerful. Do you agree to this part? right? And if you agree to this part, right, this is where we say this part is the doing agile, the practices, tools, and processes. This is part, the being agile part. And if your doing agile is not proper, chances are your being agile journey will never ever kick off. I repeat, if your doing agile is not proper, chances are your being agile journey will never ever kick off. I don't know how many of you have heard these statements by our religious gurus, right? You won't get nirvana or moksha by visiting your place of worship, but your journey will not even kick off if you don't visit those places. Has anyone attained nirvana or moksha just by visiting the spiritual places? Maybe not. Did Buddha, Mahavira, did they receive moksha nirvana by visiting temple? Maybe not. That was other element. But again, you have to start from somewhere. This is where the doing agile says. And how will you figure out whether the doing agile is proper or not? Go back.
Rajiv, can you repeat that, please? I missed it again.
Yeah, which one?
Elaborate. Yeah, the doing agile, like you transition from doing agile to being agile.
Yeah, so journey from doing agile to being agile will kickstart only when your doing agile is proper. If your doing agile is not proper, chances are your being agile journey will never ever kick off. Right? That's the statement I usually make. It has to be proper before you kickstart the journey of being agile. Now, how will you figure out whether you and your team are doing agile properly or not? This was the question. How will you figure out whether you're doing agile is proper or not, whether your stand-up is proper or not, whether your art syncs are proper or not, whether your solution trains, you're getting the right outcome or not? Are you, if you're following the Spotify, irrespective of the framework that you're using, irrespective of that? Right? How will you figure out whether doing agile is proper in your organization, in your team or not? Any of you want to share your experiences? Have you ever attempted to even figure out whether these things are happening properly or not? In most of the stand-ups, the very simple example, I've seen a typical roll call. Roll number 1, present ma'am. Roll number 2, present ma'am. Roll number 3, present ma'am. Call done. Some technical discussions, some ticket discussions, call over. Couple of teams, some burn up, pushing up. If they are working on multiple product lines, that's also gone for a toss. Forget about burn up, forget about velocity. 1, 2, 3, roll call, class over. I have seen this across the organization, right? Irrespective of the size. Backlog refinement, one person calling up. Any questions? No questions? Okay, let's move on. Regular stuff. Many teams doing sprint review, some teams not doing. PPT show, somebody just showing the text. That's how things are happening, right? So how will you figure out whether you're doing agile is proper or not? Any of you want to think over it? Any pointers anybody can think of after the discussion? I'm assuming most of you might be exposed to this kind of discussion for the first time. You might have heard, but you may not have interacted or discussed these topics in details with anyone. Anything that comes to your mind, how will you figure out whether you're doing agile is proper or not? No one?
Like it all depends on the senior leaders again, their alignment, the whoever who are the decision making people, right? If they are aligned to this vision of getting the organization into agile, see, it is multiple stakeholders who decides. The client should be aligned to agile. Even the senior leadership be aligned to agile. For it could be any team, like it could be a safe team or it could be a scrum team, to perform to their optimal level.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that this is the day-to-day challenge which I face it for the past 5-6 years as a scrum master come project manager or agile leader, like whatever the terminology which we want to call. Okay, basic things we wanted to explain it to all our senior leaders, saying at the end they say that, say, I don't know what you have to do. Okay, you go figure it out. I just need the delivery. What is it that you are running? You are running a 2-week iteration or 2-week scrum. But what is the output? Without an output, you can't the customer is not happy. So we only tend to think about the ecstasy of the customer delight. Running behind the numbers is what I really feel it.
Absolutely, running behind the numbers, checklists,
Yes.
right? And experiment everything with the IT, leave everybody side, right? IT is not even 20-25% of the entire value chain, right? And experiment everything with IT. Remaining 70-75% not even touched upon, right? As IT is the only team which can be experimented, nobody else there to experiment anything, right? Saying as time box activity is again checklist, nothing more than this part. Okay. More than output, outcome matters. Output is quantification. Outcome matter the most. But are the teams even ready for the outcome part? Do they even understand the outcome definition? Very recently, I was having discussion with the very senior leadership and all the MDs. They were saying, Rajiv, people are talking about tickets, number of tickets, number of issues resolved, this part, but they are not talking about the value delivery part. And my question was, instead of asking them, what have you done so that they start talking about the value? Have you given any environment? Have you helped them to understand the product itself? If not, why are you questioning them? Should you not be questioning you first before reaching out to the people? When you have not done, it's like expecting apples in Thar or Sahara without creating an environment. Can you? You can't. Right? So, very basic things which I always see, right? The easiest way to figure out when you were transitioning, go back to days when you started part. Have you ever felt stress, tension, people losing patience, getting angry when the doing agile journey started? Oh, but Rajiv, too many meetings. Hey, man, we have so many meetings and we have agile meetings too. How will we manage? Right? Oh, what's the outcome? Nothing is there. We just come together for the meeting. Right? Why I need a backlog refinement when I will explain to one person? Why I need an entire team to estimate when one person is doing? Have you heard these things? If these things are not there, if there is no stress, no tension, probability is your doing agile is not at all proper. This is the easiest parameter for you to start thinking. There are many other that the easiest one to figure out. No pain, no gain. If there was no pain when the transformation started, chances are your doing part never ever kicked off what you expected. Right? You are just doing. So they say the project meeting replaced with the stand-up meeting. We give the project updates, we give the updates in the same meeting. There is no ownership part, there is no accountability. Scrum Master still assigning stories, Scrum Master still assigning tasks, right? The story creation itself is the challenge, right? We are creating task as a story, subtask as a story. All these things keep happening. Everybody is giving the number they want, and then somebody at the top start using the velocity saying, yeah, velocity of this team is only 10, this is team is giving 50. Though they always say, no, we will not compare. They always start comparing. So that's the easiest way for you to figure out whether you're doing agile is on the right track or not. Whether entire team, I repeat, entire team was trained by a single person in a single class. What happens is generic session going on, everybody go and attend the session and come back. No, entire team must be there to attend those sessions, because you are looking for the alignment of the team, not alignment with different teams first. First, internal alignment is more important, especially the session like estimation, DOD, DOR, team charter, backlog refinement. Entire team must be there, and everybody should get an opportunity to speak. These are the bare minimum stuff for you to figure out whether your doing agile journey is on track or not. Any follow-up questions from anyone on these pointers from doing agile part? Do you agree, disagree? Any different experiences? Any of you want to call out? Again, these are my personal experiences I'm sharing. There is no book written on this part, nothing of that sort. These are my personal interpretation experiences of this part. Okay. So let me start the chat window if I can. Yes, I found the chat window. Okay. Narayan says agree. Chandrakanta, Kevin. Others disagree, partially agree, right? Not relevant, irrelevant. You can say anything, right? That again, that's your interpretation. Right? And these are the things. From these activities, actually, you will get pointers on how to convince your senior leadership. We always struggle. We don't have the pointers because we don't look deeper into these aspects. They just say stand up started. Man, agreed, stand up started. How often we discuss in a stand up whether the remaining work can be completed in the remaining time or not? Very rarely. Yes, Surya. And this is our job as a Scrum Master, as a coach, as an RT, to remove that blind spot. No point, Srinivas. This will not give you the value part. If you're discussing on the last day of the sprint, this should be regular, at least 2 to 3 times a week at the bare minimum. How often we use the metrics in our Scrum events? These are the things which will help you to start doing agile effectively. And once this kicks off, being agile journey will automatically kick off. You don't have to go and tell people, motivate people to quick start the journey. We always struggle to motivate because we don't pay attention to the doing agile part. Right? And this is what, and why we're even discussing this? Why this? Does this really matter? Why we are having this discussion? Does this really matter? Is anyone paying attention to this part? How this will impact you as an individual? How this will impact your team? How this will impact your organization? Why we are discussing? Any of you? What's your thought? What's come to your mind with this discussion? What comes to your mind? Anyone? What comes to your mind with the discussion that we are having? Okay, Kevin says develop and improve. Good point. Others, any of you want to share your thoughts? Focus, way of working, underestimation of effort. You have good pointers. The key is, with this discussion, you should have good pointers to reach out to the senior leadership also. What's lacking where? Otherwise, we always struggle on the output, the delivery, and other elements instead of focusing on the big picture, the big value. And we say self-manage, self-organize, but we keep micromanaging the teams. This discussion should open up those opportunities. Yeah, Gajendra, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, see, this was like for the previous one. So when you told me that the DSU that we are discussing whether we are competing it not, so I mean, see, things are like time boxed. Okay, so what if we overboard the time boxing and we cross beyond that, then what?
Gajendra, my experience is from 15, if it goes to 16, will the heaven come down?
No, no, not really, but certain
Right.
times,
So again,
yeah.
no, that's the reason I'm just raising this point, right? At times, technical discussion starts, right? Call goes beyond 15, 20, 25. These are the technical world these days, right? Logistic challenges are there, right? We are always on Teams calls or other calls. We somebody drops, somebody joins in. So, and we are not doing this every other day, okay?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
chances are, if you as a SM or a team coach or a facilitator are not entering and calling out the roll numbers, right?
Mhm.
You will always have enough time for these discussions.
Yeah, I understand. First after we taking that inputs from the team, then
Hmm.
we will designate some time for to discussion for that, the particular part. So that is what I mean.
Perfectly fine, Gajendra.
Mm,
For me, it's like we are done with the stand up. Those who want to stay, they stay. So it means you have some time left. So
mm,
in the follow up discussions, not everybody is expected, but in this discussion, everybody should be there. So this discussion should be part where everybody is there. That's the reason, right? And
yeah,
if you're doing whether you're doing once a week or twice a week, I'm not hardcoding this part,
yeah.
right? That's for the team to figure out what works best for them. Instead of we narrating, guys do this that
Mm,
way. Okay, hope this answers part.
yeah.
Now, do you want to revisit your own agile journey? Are you doing agile or you're being agile? You want to go back to your doing agile part. You want to go back to your agile coaches. You want to go back to your enterprise agile coach, or maybe you want to go back to your leadership. What could be the scope of improvement? And if you are confused, you can reach out to me anytime. Right? Provided you are ready for very hard and tough discussions, reach out only not otherwise. I'm not the one who will be giving a sugar coated candy and all that you're doing everything great. No, I'll not the one who will be saying that. The reason I'm known for my tough questions. Okay, but yes, if you are looking for some pointers, you want to go deeper, I'm more than happy to help all any of you who's ready on this part. We all understand it's a journey, it's not a destination, it's not binary. So there is no number, we are n% agile. We are agile or we are not agile. There is nothing like we are n% agile, 10%, 20%, 30%, nothing like that. And only then the innovation starts. That's my interpretation of doing agile to being agile. I hope there was something which you can take back and revisit your own agile transformation journey. And I'm happy to discuss further if any follow-up questions from anyone. Thank you guys for having me here and paying attention and being an interactive audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you.
Krishna, over to you.
Audience, any questions right now? Open for Q&A. If no questions, we
Okay,
can move on.
guys. Thank you so much. And
I have a question, Raju. I
go
mean,
ahead.
this. So how do we bring the senior leadership into these kind of discussions wherein we see as a challenge that the support that is not needed from the senior leadership to implement the things what we want in our journey. So how do we bring them, and how we align them to the process and all? Because uh, in the daily work, I know everyone will be focusing on whether we have delivered it or not. That is what that matters to most of them. But how we are doing, no one cares. But what we are is whether it is done or not. So how do we bring those leadership into our thought process? I mean, how do we do that? Coach them that.
Very good point, Gajendra. Honestly, I don't have step one, step two, step three, and your leadership will be onboarded, right?
Mm,
So this is where the thing called Gamba, the observation phase, is very important, right? Where you need to understand the leadership expectations, their mindsets, right? Their mission, their vision, right? What reports are they tracking? What data are they tracking? All these things come together, and then you have enough pointers to kickstart the discussion. Just by saying that go and follow 1, 2, 3 will not work it out. A lot of observation phase has to be a deep observation phase is required before you can come up with some of the things which I can say is maybe have the ROI, NPS, key, look for the data that they are tracking. As simple as that. Look for the data they are tracking and use, try to relate that data, how you can help the leadership to improve the data through your agile transformation journey. These things every leader will have always have time. If you talk about that language they want to hear instead of the singing that you want them to hear, always start with the song that they want to hear, not the song that you want them to hear. This thing always works.
Okay, so speak their language.
Speak their language, as simple as that. And then within their language, use your words.
Sure, got it. Thank you.
Right? This always works. And if you want to share any other thing, that's what I have experienced. Any other tips other want to share which might have worked for you? For me, this always works.
Any
Okay.
other questions? Okay. So thank you, Rajiv. Thank you so much for your wonderful, amazing session. So we are grateful to have you here. Thank you for sharing your expertise. I'm truly wonderful and unique gesture, and as a unique gesture from PMI Parallel City Hyderabad chapter has honored you with the thickest of 3 trees at for tigers in Sundarbans National Park to thank and delivering an insightful session here.
Thank you so much. This is really an honorful. I was not aware of. Otherwise, I might have given more opportunities to plant more trees.
Thank you so much, Rajiv.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead. And I hope, guys, there was some learning and there are some key takeaways, and you can visit your own transformation journeys now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rajiv.
You.
So now the session is not yet over. We have a surprise agenda member talk here. I want to hand over to Suresh, Director, Membership PMI Parallel City Chapter Hyderabad. Over to you, Suresh.
Hey, thanks, Rasagna. Thanks for your time. So, members, so this is a surprise for you. So, we have a new initiative called Member Talk. So, Member Talk is where we are actually encouraging all the members like you to give an opportunity to showcase your skills and present. So, this is a new initiative where we're going to be doing like a power talk session. So, 15-minute session for all members. So, right now, today, we're going to feature our first speaker for towards this initiative. His name is Aditya Kiran. He's going to talk to us in a minute to share his expertise. So thing is, now if you are interested to be part of this initiative, I would request and encourage you to submit this interest. And then during your future Agile series, knowledge sharing sessions, you can be part of these sessions as well. So with this, back to you, Rasana, to introduce our speaker and take it forward.
Yep. Thank you, Suresh. Now I welcome Aditya Kiran, member of PMI Parallel City Chapter Hyderabad, to talk about recognize your relevance. Over to you, Aditya.
Thank you, PMIPCC, for the opportunity. And while it is a great initiative to have all members get their own chance, I'm glad that I have my opportunity today to begin with one of the most pertinent topics that every project manager would have encompassed in their tenures, right? But I also at the same time feel that I'm at a slightly disadvantageous position just because I am having to follow up such a brilliant webinar that we got to witness from Mr. Rajiv, and the kind of learnings that all of us could derive out of his session are just going to remain with us for a long, long time. So with that said, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Aditya. I have about 16 plus years of overall experience, all of which into program management in different capacities, of course. Some of the industries that I work with so far are SaaS, software development, remote infrastructure management, and storage migrations, etc., just to name a few. With no further ado, I'll begin to share my screen. Let me know. Think I'll have to send a request there. Can I share my screen?
Please, please, you can share your screen.
Sure. Is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Brilliant. So before I dwell and sort of explain what is the topic that I have for the next 10 minutes or so to this crowd, let me begin by a very rudimentary question, right? So how many of us have felt or have questioned our own relevance at some point of time in our project management tenure? I did, certainly. I did question was why am I even here? What am I even contributing actively on? Because a lot of projects, and I come from the tech industry, a lot of projects, well, perhaps not initially in my tenure because I was operating at a very transactional level, not knowing the bigger picture all the time. But as I grew up in the project management journey and as I kept handling bigger and grander projects, is when I realized the depths of the technical nuances that were involved in my projects, right? So it's very easy to get lost every time as a hardcore project manager, you enter into a space where a lot of technical stuff gets discussed. It's very easy to get lost, and it's also easier to sort of question your relevance. And that's the topic I have for all of you today. Why does this happen? Is it very natural for any project manager to be um, getting that feeling? And if it is normal, what is the best way that we possibly can overcome, right? So those are the two simple themes that we'll possibly try and address in the next 10 minutes or so. Yes, there is a big imposter feeling that at least I had gone through in my project management journey. Because like I said, a lot of technical conversations will suck a lot of uh, uh, peace out of all of your conversations, right? You'll be indulged in very deep technical conversations that you do not know 100%. And on top of it, I think you'll also be expected to run the show, wherein there will be 100% accountability. You'll have to ensure that there are certain action items that are met by various stakeholders. So let's call this entire technical sphere that we are referring to as a black box for the rest of the presentation, because that makes it very easy. So when you do not know what is happening within the black box, that is the sort of restless feeling that every project manager will encompass at some point of time in their journey, right? But why does that happen? Where is the trap? The trap is when we equate our lack of technical depth to lack of relevance. We tend to have a direct proportional relevance that's somehow established in our hardwired brains, that since we do not know the technical depths of every nuance that we are trying to work on a project, hence we must be less relevant, or we must not be relevant at all. But what is the reframe? I think as it is important to manage, or as it is important to handle what's happening within the black box, like how are we solutioning, and how are we trying to tackle a problem, it is almost as important, if not more important, to actually protect the black box from the outside, right? There obviously will be a lot of external pressure that every project will have to go past. It could be in the form of a certain influential stakeholder, wherein the entire solution may be skewed against a limited interest, right? So that all those pressures will be there, and the bigger the project, the bigger the pressure that it is possibly going to be subjected to. In those scenarios, yes, it is all the more important that we protect the black box and ensure that whatever is happening within the black box is not subject to the external pressure that it is subjected to. And I think that is where the relevance of a project manager is always there. While we let the technical composition team to have a focused conversation on the solution and on the code, uh, we as project managers need to ensure that we have a top level view of what's happening and what is the entire environment that this entire team is working into, and then we'll have to play our part in controlling that particular environment. That's the reframe, which will sort of help us redefine and reinvent our own relevance into the setup. So let's look at this particular picture on the right side. We have a conductor who is obviously playing an orchestra, and we all know an orchestra is a culmination of a lot of people who are individually brilliant at playing a lot of instruments, right? Let's just imagine the sound of a violin blending its way through the sound of a flute. Uh, you wouldn't get that particular combination anywhere else. Somebody must have envisioned that particular combination, and somebody must have uh, assembled this particular team together for us to enjoy the end um, value proposition, which is the overall melody, right? So I think the best way of reframing the project managers is to look at ourselves as chief value officers, right? If we perceive ourselves as we are going to be the custodians to ensure that the value proposition is kept intact on every project, that is what makes us relevant, and that is what the conductor on the picture also does. While he or she may not be perfect in playing all of those instruments individually, I think the way that he or she marshals the troops across and ensures that there is a synergy that's played between all of those troops is what cuts the ticket at the end of the day, right? So let's start looking at ourselves as chief value officers, because that is what is going to, um, uh, define the relevance for us. Uh, Yes, so there are two languages that are also at play. One, the code language that possibly the machines understand, and one, the business language that the stakeholders will understand. And there is very little overlap between these two. Not necessary that both of these languages can talk to each other without an interpreter who can understand both of them adequately possible, right? And no prizes for guessing who should that a translator be. It's obviously going to be a project manager who understands what's happening at a code level at a very um, basic level, but also be able to translate it back and forth to the business stakeholders in their own language, right? So let's look at how the translation works in its play. Let's first look at a bad translation. Let's say that there is an issue that we have encountered in our project. There is a P0 bug in an authentication module. But if we directly cascade this entire message across to the senior leadership in the project, it doesn't really ring a bell, or it doesn't really quantify the impact of it, right? It's just a vague statement indicating to people higher up in the chain that there is an issue. But what should a good translation look like? If we can break down this entire message into what is the bug about, like in this case, if we can write it down as there is a critical bug that we have encountered in the login system. Okay, so what is the issue is now made very clear, and what is the impact of it? So possibly the registrations will be down for the next 2 hours. If we can make it very clear to the business, then that sets the right expectations. And what are we doing about it is what gets covered in the plan. So let's say that there is a deployment that's expected at 5 p.m. and we are going to internally test it at 4 p.m. to ensure everything is fine. So that also gives a clear indication about there is a team that is working on actively to fix this particular problem. And is there something that is expected actively from the business stakeholders is also something that we can include in the message so that they get prepared as well. So a good translation is when you understand what has happened in your particular project, but you also try and knit it tactfully through the business language, and then ensure that you cover what is the issue all about, what is the impact, and what are you doing to fix it, and what is the action that you need from anybody to overcome this particular problem. I think that is what ownership is all about, and that is the value proposition that every PM needs to take care of in his or her projects. Just in conclusion, let the black box take care of how the solutioning of your entire project, but you as a project manager, let us continue to take care of the why. Why does this project exist? What are we trying to deliver here? Is the solution we are trying to build actually addressing the problem statement of the business case at hand? If we can always be that layer to ensure that there is a direct link between the solution that we are providing versus the problem statement at hand, then obviously our projects are going to stay relevant, and we as project managers are going to reinvent our relevance there. So just to sum it up, I don't think the technical team needs another engineer because they already have all of them as required. I think they need somebody who can guide them through those uncertain territories that every project can be subjected to, and they'll need some guiding force to take them to the destination from the start. And that is us. That is project managers, right? So let's reinvent ourselves. Let's rewire as required, and hopefully this is the message that I wanted to cascade across to this entire group. I'm happy to take any questions if there are any. Anything from anyone?
Thank you, Aditya. I think if there are no questions, we can move forward. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you. Over to you, Casey.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Aditya. Thanks for a good session. Dear all, thanks for joining on Saturday. I know we crossed our time, but we take only 5 minutes, and this 5 minutes will give you a brief overview of what we are going to do on 13th December at Infosys. So we are doing our annual Agile conference this year on 13th December at Infosys, and it is from 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. IST. And we have, as said in our network meeting in October, so we worked and then identified a good set of speakers from different verticals to ensure that you get experience from different industries as well as from a different verticals within the IT, so that you can unlearn and relearn the things which are new and which you are going to learn from the speakers. So here is the speaker set. We have finalized the whole speaker set. So Dr. Umesh is from the IT, and I already shared the title which he's going to speak. And we have Christine, who has a varied experience, and she's a co-author for multiple books. And we have Ketan, who is going to do an AI workshop using Agile. And we have Nirmalya, who is from semiconductor industry, but right now primarily focusing on organization change management and leadership transformation. And we have Mr. Venkatesh, who is from aerospace, and we want to bring in some experience from the aerospace to understand like how Agile is being used there, so that we can use the similar practices in our day-to-day life. And we have Ria from Zomato, and Zomato is primarily into commerce, and we can learn a lot from her. And I already shared the title. We have Ayaz from biotech, because it's been quite some time we couldn't onboard anyone from the pharma or biotech. So we discussed and then we brought up a good speaker from the biotech who is working on both biotech and pharma side, who can give you great insights. And we do have Ram from Infosys, and we have a very good panel lined up who had varied of experience. Subhendu from AT&T, and Santana has moved out from Reckitt and he has his own organization. And we have Lakshmi from Google, and the moderator is Satya from Infosys. All in all, like we have a very good set of speakers lined up, and all the titles and the topics are being discussed, and then we gave them what needs to be spoken in the conference. So please make use of the time and come join us, network, and learn from the speakers, and also learn from your other members who are going to join the meeting, who is going to join the conference. These are the topics, as I said a couple of minutes back, and this I shared already in the chat so that you get a chance to go through it. So if you have any queries, feel free to reach out to me or Seshu, who is a co-director, who is also part of this call. Seshu, you can chip in.
Yeah. So, hello team. So I'm the co-director for this conference. As already Casey told about the conference, I don't want to bug you all up, but yeah, this is worthwhile to attend. Why? Because see, I could sense from the comments that in the previous session, when there were many takeaways, doing agile, being agile, how we can manage the things, and even in a member talk, there was one thing like how is that not like you're talking on a code, but you're talking on a value or the impact, right? So in an hour session, if you could get so much, imagine about a 7 hour conference with various diversified speakers. What is that impact it could be on our implementation? It's not a gyan there. It's all about how you can implement. And I'm pretty confident that you would definitely take some takeaways and start implementing immediately. So who knows? With all these key takers, even you yourself could form a story and present as a member talk in the next sessions too. So don't think about what you get. You definitely get a value-driven uh, key takeaways there. So do join us, and do not much bother about the price. Do we have a discount? It's a matter of just it's. I don't even compare with a Swiggy order, but I compare it with a Swiggy Instamart. So, but for that, you get huge there. So you get a chance to talk to the speakers, you get a chance to talk to many of your peers there, exchange of thoughts, share the use cases, and as Casey mentioned, the speakers are from various diversified roles, domains. So you get to know insights from each and every domain. For example, I am coming from product based background. Before that, I was in service based. So always had a confusion how I can put the agile in this. In fact, I kept agile in data migration too. How? So I started talking to the people outside. Even PMIPCC was one of the platform where I got to interact with many speakers, got some thoughts, implemented, succeeded. So it's help me help you. It's always vice versa. So do join us in this conference. Hardly a week left. So don't think much. Go ahead and make that weekend as a productive weekend for yourself. End it with a good note, with a good learning of this year. So I've also dropped the conference link, the registration link here. So because soon we would go ahead and close the registration, so it's better go ahead and register it soon. Probably I say right now. So any questions, anything, can do let us know. So there's a hybrid conference team here. So whoever is outside the Hyderabad can go for virtual, and whoever is inside Hyderabad, I request to join us there in person. Not just about the conference, you also have various other benefits being in person there.
Right. Uh, Thank you all for joining us on a Saturday, and we look forward to see you all on 13th, which is next Saturday in person at Infosys. Let's learn together.
Thank you, Seshu. Thank you, Casey. If everyone scanned the QR codes or registered, so I will move forward. As a quick reminder, your PDU will be automatically credited within a week or kind of in a week. So if not, please write an email to events@pmipcc.org. And please do take a minute to fill out the feedback form. The feedback helps us to make the session even more better. Yeah. These are the social media handles. Please follow up here, and you can get more information or more quick updates here before the slots went up. Yeah, with this is the end of the session. I'll just leave the QR code for the Agile series. So if anyone wants, they can quickly scan and register for the session. With this, thank you all. Thank you for your time on Saturday, early in the morning. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.